All right, Shalom. Start off saying Ka Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, great moonstone, to my elder hero one as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khanak Ta'am by Yashar from the Lions in the Yashar camp. And this lesson is going to be a Lions Den News and Prophecy. And this article is from the Jerusalem Post. And the title says, Russia warns against the risk of nuclear confrontation with the United States growing. All right. It says, since the start of its invasion on Ukraine 14 months ago, Moscow has issued regular charges against the United States. It says, risk of a direct military confrontation between the two nuclear powers, Russia and the United States, are steadily growing as it's growing. The TASS news agency quoted a senior Russian diplomat as saying on Tuesday. All right. And so what does that sound like? Sounds like prophecy, man. It sounds like Ezekiel 38, Jeremiah 51 and 11, and Isaiah 13 and 17. You know, it sounds like all that unfolding. It sounds like the bear being coming out of hibernation and going to make war with the beast. Because we all know that the situation with Russia and Ukraine is really a war against NATO. And ultimately with NATO, you know, with it being a kind of sort of attack on NATO, because NATO trying to get Ukraine fully officially involved with NATO. Russia isn't having that, because there's a lot of countries that were once a part of the Soviet Union that had been split when the Soviet Union fell, right? And so, and Ukraine is one of the countries, man. So those are Russian people in Ukraine, and that's the whole purpose of Vladimir Putin doing what he's doing in the fight. Because remember in 2014, I think it was either 2014 or 2016, they annexed Crimea. All right. So this is kind of in relations kind of the same thing. All right. So which ultimately, because Ukraine wants to support, because of the puppet ruler that they have in there, that Vladimir Zelensky guy, who's once he's kind of like the Ronald Reagan. Because I think he was an actor, if I ain't mistaken. I think I heard the elder say that one time. He's an actor. Now he was such a good actor. Now he's playing the role of the president of Ukraine. All right. It says Vladimir Yermakov, the foreign ministry's, all them boys named Vladimir. What? Ministry's head of nuclear non-proliferation, told the Russian state news agency that Washington is escalating the risks through its conduct with Moscow. Since the start of the invasion of Ukraine 14 months ago, Moscow has issued regular charges against the United States and what it calls the collective West, meaning NATO, for raising the risk of a nuclear war, rhetoric intended to deter Kyiv's allies. If the United States continues to follow its current course on confrontation with Russia, with the stakes constantly escalating on the verge of sliding into direct armed conflict, then the fate of START nuclear arms treaty may be foregone conclusion, Yermakov said. All right. It says, U.S. responds to Russia's suspending participation and a new START treaty. It says the U.S. told Russia in March that it will cease exchanging some data on its nuclear forces following Moscow's refusal to do so, calling it a response to Russia's suspending participation in the new START treaty. Yermakov did not provide details of the alleged U.S. confrontational approach in the experts forum of the TASS interview published so far. It says the most accurate threat today is associated with the danger of nuclear escalation as a result of a direct military confrontation between nuclear powers, Yermakov said. And these risks, to the deepest regret, are steadily growing. Moscow and Beijing will assess the West's potential. So now, Moscow and Beijing, that's Russia and China. All right, we already knew they were joining forces. All right, so now they're both kind of sort of making nuclear threats against America. All right, it says Moscow and Beijing will assess the West's potential involvement in the global expansion of the United States anti-missile system, which clearly undermines strategic stability, he added. All right. So now, with China, so now check this out. What you had over the past couple weeks, you had the president of Taiwan going to California, and with that angered China. So China started doing military drills. All right. You had President Biden go visit Ireland, right? And that pissed off Russia. So Russia started doing military shooting off missiles as a show of force, right? And then now you have this talks of nuclear conflict between the two biggest stockholders of nuclear weapons in the world, America and United States. And you know, if the United States gets involved, NATO is going to get involved. And so it looks, if Russia's in any involvement, China's going to get involved in support to Russia. So this is leading up to the end-all, tell-all, nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, man. All put up together by the hands of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And it's all prophecy. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai muster up the host of the battle. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." Right. So there's no type of bribery, no kind of economical sanctions that they can do to deter Russia. Because once Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall put an evil thought in their minds. As a matter of fact, let me get that real quick before I continue on. Let me get Ezekiel 38. Lock it down with me 1 second. Let me get Ezekiel 38, verse 10. It says, "And it shall also come to, and thus saith the Lord, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up into the land of unwalled villages." This is the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, putting these thoughts into the mind of the bear, which is Russia, Putin. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell in safety, to all them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. All right. And that's how America's a sitting duck. All right. They can't even understand and see what the Lord has set up against them, rising these other nations, the kings of the earth, up against this place, man. So going back to Isaiah chapter 13 again, it says, Isaiah 13 and 17, it says, "Behold, I will stir up," it's not getting to me. All right. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall spare no children. Right, because if you think about it, every time America meddles in the affairs of these other nations, they don't give pity. They kill innocent people. Look at Benghazi. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Saudi Arabia. Every time America gets involved with these other nations, man, dealing with their affairs, America sheds innocent blood. All right, so the same things are going to come around to them. Verse 19, it says, and behold, and it's like in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. So, but it shall be more tolerable on Sodom and Gomorrah than it shall be on this place. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall be dwelled in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabians pitch their tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their folds there. So there's not going to be any business relations or anything going on in this place, man. This place is going to be totally annihilated, man. This place is going to be totally annihilated. It also says, verse 20 says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall Arabian pitch their tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. So this is only going to be a place for swamp animals, man. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons and their pleasant places, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged, man. Right, so the time is near to come for the destruction of this place. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Jeremiah 51:11, it says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord and the vengeance of his temple, man. Because these are the main place where the apple of his eye went into captivity, and were oppressed, and were shown no mercy. Verse 12, it says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambush, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So that's what we're speaking out there on the highways and byways and hedges, man. The destruction of this place that was put forth by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. You know, so just want to go into that article briefly real quick. Yeah, man, it's all set up by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to destroy this place, man. You know, so tensions are rising, and the talks of nuclear threats on this place, man, are continuing to rise also, man. All right, so we need to see these things happen, and we know that our salvation is nearer than what we believe, man. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and serve his purpose. With that, like Sekah Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder here one as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom.